My biblical question for this week is from Psalms 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. What is the valley of the shadow of death? We need an answer today. What is the valley of the shadow of death? I want to know. All right, good question. Last night we had our first men's forum, Thursday night men's forum for this year, 2018. Every first Thursday night of the month. And I have to tell you, it was a doozy. Everybody and their daddy showed up. I do appreciate that. And we had a really, really good start last night. The guys are opening up and seeing how to overcome now. It's mind-blowing. So my nonprofit bond, we have meetings, let me see, first Thursday night of the month for men only, third Thursday night of the month for ladies only, and then on Sunday mornings, church for everybody and their mama. And it was a doozy last night. The guys came out of the woodwork. It was really, really good. And we just kind of talked about what they were able to overcome this past year or realize. And there was a lot of talk about marriage and what the men are dealing with in their relationship, in their marriages. There was one guy talking about the fact that he forgave his father. That was powerful, really, really powerful. And we dealt, as I said, with the biblical question. It was very, very interesting, the response we got. I learned so much from that. I realized so much from it. So we got to get to everybody. I understand. Let's go to Antonio out of Holland, Michigan. Antonio, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. You're on the air, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Jesse?
All
I've
is
been
well.
listening to you for a while.
Are you a first-time caller?
Man. No, I called a couple months ago, 6 months ago, back when I was in Florida.
All right. I appreciate you calling. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
So for everybody that listens to you and everybody that watches you on YouTube, I know that some people feel some type of way, especially the Mark person. I just realized people that have anger and have that darkness, they're just the darkness can't stand the light, and it can't stand the truth.
Yep.
So my what I wanted to talk about was the Lord's Prayer and what Jesus said. He said that thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And then he said, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. He meant, like you said, thy kingdom come, like heaven being within you.
Yes, sir.
So his kingdom coming down on earth within us, Jesus working through us, and that we not even be tempted because we're delivered from evil, that temptation loses its power.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, 100%. You know that where it says, lead us not into temptation? That's a mistake in the Bible. God never lead us toward temptation. It implies that he tempts us, and he doesn't. So that's another error in the Bible. But you're absolutely right, absolutely right. Hold on, Antonio. Let me take a break. You know, you mentioned in the Lord's Prayer it says, lead us not into temptation. I don't know if they intentionally put that there to deceive the people, or was it an honest mistake? But it should be lead us away from temptation, to deliver us from evil, because God never leads us toward temptation. It would be like having an earthly father, and he's tempting you, pushing you toward temptation. That would destroy your soul.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. But when they said lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, meaning deliver us from all evil, from our wicked hearts, and put your light and your love in us, so that we may not be led into temptation, that we would not fall for the lies and the deception of the enemy.
And so, Antonio, how do you know what you're saying is true?
I've witnessed it in my own life. I started listening to you about almost a year ago now. And when I was in Florida, I was homeless for a little bit, sleeping in my car, but I ended up, God led me into getting a place and a good job. And the Holy Spirit started to fill my whole entire body.
Yeah.
That when I would go places, people would feel that energy and that love. What I took from that was when I came back to Michigan, back home to my parents, and I'm 22. I just turned 22. I lived with my stepfather and my mother. I noticed that the anger and the resentment that my stepfather had towards me, just even being around, and my mother just having like this like false love for everyone, but especially like her children.
Yeah.
It was like she just, she hates men, and that my stepfather hates men. Men of God, you know. So and when I was in the home, I started like I was still had that perfection. Like I felt like perfect love for them, but it started to dwindle because the devil kept like whispering like bitterness into my soul
Yes,
of
sir.
just what's going on around me, and then so that finally, like, just not but a week ago, my stepfather slandered me, and like a little bit of a rise came out of me, and I told him off, and he put me out of the house. I was homeless for a little bit again, but God saved me, and from the cold in the Midwest, and I got a place now, and this is my first night in my place.
Hold on,
My first
Antonio.
day, so.
Hold on, buddy. As Antonio was speaking, I was thinking of we had our first men's forum last night, the first Thursday night of the month, and there was a young man there talking about how he was living with his mother and brother, and how difficult it was for him to get away from her and his brother, and that whenever his mother found out that he was about to go to a bond meeting, she was so serious and desperate about keeping him in the home and with her and controlling him, that whenever he even mentioned that he was going to a bond meeting, my nonprofit, that she would start crying. The mother would start crying and carrying on in the attempt to control the son. Isn't that like amazing? That's like mind-blowing to me. And the son for a while allowed that to manipulate him and control him, and then she used money. Oh, mama need money. Mama can't make it without you. And that all made him feel guilty and control him. But he finally, after meditating, doing the silent prayer, and you can download my silent prayer on rebuildingtheman.com/church, rebuildingtheman.com/church. And he talked about how after doing the prayer, he finally realized he needed to leave. And so he finally broke away from her. And at first his brother was trying to attack him, but his brother is now accepting it. And it was such a profound story. How old do you know his age? He was 28 years old. He happened to be black, but 28 years old, and talked about how his mother did not want to let him go. Mothers, I want you to know, is gross. It seemed perverted. There's something wrong with you when you hold on to your children, especially your boys, when they turn 18 and they're ready to go out and live their lives, and you work overtime to manipulate them and control them to keep them. It's something weird about that. It's not good. It's not love. You really need to check yourself. There's something perverted about that. It really, really is. He said that his brother was mad he wasn't getting enough money from him. Isn't that amazing? It was mind-blowing. And to hear Antonio talk about his experience, and Antonio made such an interesting point. Do you know that there are males who hate men? And they hate men because their nature has been switched. They're not themselves. They have their mother's identity. They're not themselves. They become their mothers because you become like whomever you're angry at, whether you're a man or a woman. And it doesn't make you gay, even though a lot of men and women do become lesbians and homosexuals because they hate their mothers. And you become attracted to what you hate. You develop a love-hate relationship. So in most cases, you're not going to have sex with mama. So you go out and find that spirit of mama in someone else. Women, I've had so many women tell me that their boyfriend, fiance, or husband is like their mother. They feel like when they are with him, they're with their mother. And when they're having sex with them, it's like having sex with their mothers. You become like what you hate, folks. And so, Antonio, you make a good point. Antonio, you have literally, not realizing it, made my year. To hear this from you and being 22, I thought you were older, but being 22. And
well, the year just started, so I mean.
I know. But, you're absolutely right. God has warned us not to be around evil. You're not supposed to stay in the company of evil for too long because it will overtake you. And so I'm glad you got out of there. I'm glad he threw you out. And that you're out, and hopefully you will never return to that environment again.
Yeah, I know that before I came back up to return to it, I knew that it was going to be bad. And I questioned God. I was like, why? You already know, like, this isn't going to be good for me. And I think he just wanted to reveal that that I really do need to completely and utterly forgive and know that It's not flesh and blood that I'm battling. It's the darkness and principalities.
100%, man. 100%. And congratulations, your first day of your own place. What a nice way to start the New Year's.
Yeah, it is.
And so have you forgiven your mother completely?
I actually, when I came back, like a month later, I talked to her and I told her that I had hated her, and that that I was sorry for hating her. I apologized and kind of did what you said. And I don't have a good relationship with my biological father. We actually, every time I try to talk to him, it's just like he seems like he just doesn't want to. But my mother just kind of took that as oh, you hate me, so she was just put off by it. She didn't know how to take it. And I was like, no, Mom, like, that's not it. Like, I love you, but it's like you just said, that it's a perverted love. It's a false perverted love, and
yes.
I feel like it's in almost every single mother.
Yes.
And even fathers have that.
Yes.
And it really is disgusting because, you look at people when you walk around town. I know that you must see it, but you could almost see it in their eyes that they just have that spirit.
I literally, absolutely, and 100% know fathers who has the spirit of their mothers in them, and some of them are married and some are not, but they have children, and they have that same perverted love for their children that their mothers have, and they have corrupted and perverted, and they are killing the souls of their children, but they literally cannot help it. I know men who would not do it if they could help it, but they feel and see and look at their sons and daughters in the same manner that their mothers do, and it's so perverted. You're absolutely right.
And what's funny is that they don't see, but they've heard of Jesus and how he transforms people's lives, but they don't take the step. Or if they do, they get far enough, and then they become bitter with God for whatever may happen.
Yes.
So and then in turn not only do they hate their parents, but they have a hate for God, which they had in the beginning anyway. They just never knew.
Yeah. Well, if anyone anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, who resent or who is angry, who are hate their parents, and anger is the same as resentment and hatred. They do not love God. You can't love God. They hate God because you can't love God and hate your parents or be angry at your parents. But I recommend, is your father, are you able to go to your father?
He lives in Indiana.
At some point, you need to go visit with him and sit down and just say, explain to him you've been resenting him and why, but you're sorry for it, and you want to know what happened in his life that caused him to become the way he is, because he's never had anyone to show him love like that, to try to get an understanding, why do you do the things you do? They have just accused him and attacked him, but never showed him love. And try to ask him about his life and let him talk to you about what he has gone through.